So, welcome everyone. My name is Riddhi Modi. I'm product manager at Provence, and welcome to all of you for our third webcast series of the Service Team and Microsoft Innovation. Today's agenda is all about Power BI, and I would like to introduce my colleague Matt, that you already know. He is going to do the demo how to integrate Power BI and how to use Copilot and Power BI to use in Service Team. So that's over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Rudy. Yep, hi, I'm Matt. So I'm Customer Support Manager at Provence. I've been here 3 years. Previous career was probably about 35 years running support service desks, both MSPs and internal. We're here, as I said, to talk about Copilot in Power BI.
And just before Matt starts everything, this session will be recorded. So hope everyone is okay with that. And I will feel free to ask any questions that you want in the chat box here. So I will be able to help during the session. And we also have last few minutes at the end of the session for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, quite a short agenda. So we're going to talk about service team reporting generally. And then we're going to Copilot within Power BI and why you as a service delivery manager or agent or CTO would use it. We're then going to do a demo. This is the out-of-the-box Copilot. So it's, as with everything with AI, it's a constantly moving target. There are lots of things that are being developed. So, for example, Microsoft introduced Fabric apps and skills about 3 or 4 days ago. So we're not covering that, but that's a very interesting developing area. Right, so let's talk first about service team reporting. So generally we have 3 areas of getting the reporting out of service team: views, 365 dashboards, and Power BI. So what I'll do, I will just flick across and we're going to have a look at tickets. So a standard view, a queue in this case, you've got the ability here to edit your columns, put different columns in, swap the order of these around, put filters in, so you can do some really quite complex filters in here. And to actually get the information out, you can just do exports to Excel. You can then do your pivot tables and however you want to present it. We also have 365 dashboards. So these aren't Power BI, these built into the system. And these, again, can be customized. You can put different graphs and various reportings and exporting, and are pretty powerful. But our main area of reporting is Power BI. It's integrated directly into Service Team interface, and that provides a number of different dashboards which would be used by a support operation to manage and report on how tickets are flowing through the system, whether it's change requests, etc. As a product, Power BI is a market leader in reporting and dashboards. It provides a clean, secure, and deeply integrated analytics layer on top of a business app like Service Team. And with direct access to Service Team data in the Dataverse with near real-time or real-time information, you can create and view insightful and filterable reports of ITSM and the support operation. And it also means that you get also the standard Microsoft security and role configuration. You don't have to worry about that. We provide the model to you completely unlocked out of the box. We provide all these reports for you, but if you wish to update these yourself, or you wish to use a third party, or you wish to use our professional services, then it's up to you. But it's a very powerful reporting solution. Okay, so if we go back to our PowerPoint, so the next point really is, why would you use Copilot in BI? So Power BI is very powerful, and it's it's quite user friendly, but there's a lot of depth within the product. If it's a data model or DAX. So some people just don't have the time or the skills or understanding of where the data is, or have access to external resources. You might have some Power BI experts in your company, but they're too busy dealing with your customers rather than wanting to help you with your internal BI creation and work. You might you don't know how to do certain areas, like visualizations might be a weak point, or you don't understand the DAX language. So DAX is a language within Power BI, which is kind of like a glorified macro system in Excel, but it enables you to create lots of really clever and insightful columns and drive down into your data. You might have inherited the BI. Lots of people have, with the shift of reporting responsibilities, you might be given a BI and you think, well, nobody's documented this bit. What do these fields actually mean? And Copilot can help you that. You can't find a visual you need. Someone has probably created a visual that you actually need, but it might be buried in a number of tabs of the reports that you're looking at, or it could be in a report in another BI. And the beauty of Copilot is you can not only ask questions of the current report that you have open, but also across your entire workspace. Sometimes you just don't want pretty graphs and a few tables. You want actually constructed summary and comment information, almost like an essay of where something is, an analysis of the data. And so Copilot can help you create that. And again, this goes back to the time. You're constantly being asked by managers and clients who want bespoke reports. You creating them manually can take time, and not necessarily be able to do what you need to be able to want to do on that. So we're going to go into demo. As said, this demo Copilot is in preview in Power BI, and it is a moving target. There's continually things that are evolving with the product. I do have some slides as well, which can demonstrate some areas. But let's go back into Copilot, and we'll start from there into Power BI. Okay, so we're in Power BI desktop here. This is the one of the standard reports that we use within ServiceTeam. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the basic process of using some prompts and looking at the data. With regard to complexity, we talked about some people might not know about data models and how all these fields are connected. They don't really want to understand that. They want to be able to just create data. So there is complexity there within Power BI, and then you've got all the fields that you've got within the system. So we've got a large number of fields here that are used for tickets, and that's where we even get to things like change requests or events. And then you've got the visualizations. Again, these are the out-of-the-box Power BI visualizations, but you can use others, and some of these might be a bit difficult for you to understand as to how they're actually being used. So before you actually use your BI within with Copilot, you have to tell Copilot about the data. It basically doesn't understand much about your data at the moment, so you have to kind of give it some prompts and ideas, and that's where this prep data for AI button comes in. And there's three areas on this really, which is first of all is limit how much data that you are expecting Copilot to interrogate on your BI. So in this case, I'm actually just looking at tickets, and I'm actually only picking up certain fields from the tickets. I haven't selected everything. And we've also picked up ServiceTeam measures here. So these are the ones that we're telling Copilot that it needs to analyze and understand. Another area is verified answers. So these are questions that people might ask often, like, what's our profit like for the current year? So instead of Copilot having to go and recalculate everything and build the idea of what you're actually asking it, this is a verified answer that if someone asks, then Copilot will come back with the exact answer. The problem with verified answers is that you can't use filters or dynamic questions. So you can't say, show me all tickets for company A, because unless you've actually created a verified answer for show me all tickets for company A, it won't be able to do it. But there are other ways to do this. And one of the biggest areas is AI instructions. So this is where you give Copilot the business rules and the structure about how it should look at the data. So, for example, we've said, the ticket number field, make sure it's padded, because if I give you four characters, make sure you pad it with preceding zeros, because we've got 6 characters for our ticket in this case. Which date fields to use, how I define a high priority ticket. So it's got a priority field, and I've told it, look, if I'm asked for high priority tickets, use 1 and 2 as high priority tickets. So this is only a sample. You can see you've got 10,000 characters that you can actually add to this to actually teach Copilot about your BI, as well as obviously the proper artificial intelligence that it's looking at what you're doing, going through the system. Every time that you make an update within Prep Data for AI, you must reopen the Copilot chat window for it to take into account what you've done. If I carry on, any questions on that? No? Good. Right, let's continue. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of some of these bits, and we're going to click the Copilot button. So if you don't see these 2 buttons on your BI, and they're to actually open the prompt, then obviously something isn't set correctly on what you've got. So we click Copilot, and we're going to drag this across. So by default, Copilot gives you a basic prompt. It says, what are you trying to do? You're going to create a new report page, content, or just a question. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually just ask it a question. So I'm going to put a prompt in here. Now, as with all AI demos, there are timing constraints in how long it would actually take to do something. It does get quicker the more AI prep that you do, because it then doesn't have to sort through all the data. It kind of goes directly to what it is. So just bear with it on this. So this question I asked, I said, show me open tickets by priority. And this is a verified answer, which we created in our Prep Data for AI. So the Copilot has automatically gone and shown me that graph that I wanted, because it knows where to get that information from. And if you click on this button here, it tells you what it's actually doing to actually get that piece of information. Right, so we go on to the next one. Get rid of that. The other thing to remember with Copilot is as you start building up these prompts, if it's something that isn't related to a previous prompt, you may as well start a new Copilot session, because otherwise you might get to the point where Copilot is coordinating so much information that you've previously discussed that it just stops working. So that's just a little hidden that I found. So now we're going to show a list of closed tickets raised by a customer, human resources, but only for contact Emily Turner. Now, I told it in the AI prep, I said, when I talk about customers, I want you to use the account field. So hopefully it should go and do that. It's just drafting its response now. And here we go. So this is obviously a lot of information. It's not very well formatted. It's done what I asked it to do. But you'll see that here there's a link, and this is a link to where it discovered this information that I actually asked for. So if I click on this button, it now takes me to a report, And you can see at the top, it has used dynamic filtering. It's basically set the account to human resources, contact to Emily, and the status is closed. And we could, maneuver around our report as standard here. And we've got the usual Power BI drill down capability. So it's quite powerful from that side. So I'm going to get rid of that one and just go again. Now we go demo. So an often used one might be, tell me about ticket, or tell me about a ticket. So we're just going to say, again, it's conversational language. You're not having to build up queries here. It's just doing it for you, just based on you just talking to Copilot. It's drafting a response now. Okay, it's producing information here. It's actually pulled out a thing called a real ticket number, because obviously, tickets can have GUIDs as well. So we need to make sure that it's using the actual ticket number. It's also brought in the last note that was actually put against that ticket. So it's looked through ServiceTeam, it's looked through all the activities and notes and gone and got the latest note that is available. And if we click the one, in this case, it will take us to a report where it actually found this information for us. Apart from obviously looking at reports and parts of the dashboard that have already been created, ServiceTeam, Power BI with Copilot can go and create stuff as well. When you create visuals, make sure, this is currently as it stands, make sure that you already have some form of visual on the page that you're creating the visual on, otherwise it will fail. So what we're doing now is we're actually going to create a table visual that is going to show the tickets created by Emily. We only want May, and again we also want the last night activity. And as you can see, it's created the report, the table visual with the information that we requested. Right, let's go on and do another one. You can, of course, create your own charts as well based on a question that you've got. So this time we're going to create a ribbon chart again for Emily, but to 2026. We're also going to tell it to, once you've created it, and we're going low priority tickets, instant tickets. I was going to say, once you've created it, we want you to actually change the title text of the ribbon chart. So all this prompt is in one area. So as you see, it started creating the entry, the chart. And one thing you will notice here, and this is one of those AI things that makes you smile occasionally, is that I told it in my instructions. I said, change the visual title of the ribbon chart to low priority tickets from Emily Turner. And as you can see on the response from Copilot, I can now update the visual title to this. So, but it hasn't done it. So it said, if you like, even though I told it. So I said yes. So change the title. So it hasn't fully completed the task I gave it. So now I have to change the title, and it would have obviously been quicker to, in this case, to actually go and change the title manually myself. But you might not know where that is. You might not know have that experience of it. So this will do some time. Sometimes it actually comes up with a response which says, I have changed the title, and then you can see it hasn't changed the title, and as you can see here, it now has changed the title. So all is good from that side. Right, let's get rid of this one. few more to go through. Creating measures. So measures are important feature of Power BI for capturing things like percentages or calculations between two or more other measures or columns. Sometimes creating measures takes some DAX skills, some query skills. It might not be something that you're really interested in. If you can actually describe it in modern, normal, natural language, then Copilot can help you create those measures. However, one thing that Copilot doesn't do is it doesn't actually create the measure. At the moment, it purely tells you how to go and create the measure. So it's more useful than Copilot outside Power BI because it's actually referring to your fields that are within your BI that you're currently looking at. I'm sure that would be a feature that's coming in, and it's probably already in the new AI Fabric skills and apps that where Microsoft talked about this week. We mentioned about the fact that you might be inheriting a BI. Someone's giving it to you and say, okay, you're going to run with this now. You can update. And you might think, well, what does that field mean? What's that actually do? So Copilot again can go and examine the BI. It can also look at external references as to what this particular measure is normally used for, and it will come back with a full description here of what that field is used for. And we get asked this one a lot: what is a backlog? So this is there for you. Okay, so we just got a few more. Got a bit of time before we get to questions. So click here, click up there. Another great feature is we talked about obviously creating visuals, but sometimes you do just want to actually summarize something in an email or to a management report about what's actually happening within the ticketing system. So this summarizing actually produces text information, looking at how tickets have been raised, what the trends are, whether there's any high priority tickets, and I find this really useful. This can be used for so many other areas where you're comparing, two clients against each other. What's their makeup? Who's doing the most tickets, and why are they doing the most tickets? Or you could even be comparing agents. You could take the view of, well, this agent is getting 50 tickets, and this agent's getting 30 tickets, and agent A is closing tickets, much quicker or whatever. So there's a lot of power in this. So it's it will quite happily talk a lot about all the things it finds about tickets. It's really powerful part of the system to kind of drill down into the analysis of specific areas of tickets within your estate. So I think we'll just go on to the last one, I think. So let's go on to, then we can go on to some questions. So we're going to end with a biggie, which will hopefully work. So we're going to now not just create a visual, but actually create a brand new page, a brand new visual page, which we'll look at tickets for a particular account. We'll then try and pull out some graphs and table visuals for that particular account that we're currently looking at. So it's a bit of a bigger task for it to do. It's behaved really well so far, so hopefully it will produce. Here we go. So now the system is creating a report. Still going. Yeah, so it's based on what I was asking. It's produced a pretty good overview of that client, so I can delve further into it. So, someone with good BI skills could probably create that. I don't know whether even with the with Copilot took probably a minute to do that. Whether they could do it in the same time. But it's there for both a knowledge gap and also a timing. Right.
That was awesome, Matt. I think you showed us how to prep for it, how to create a custom report. So that's wonderful. I would ask audience if they have any questions, and we only have like 4 minutes left. It looks like no questions. So Matt, maybe I would ask you. So I would ask audience in that case. Would you guys like to use some of these capability? Do you find it useful in your everyday reporting or management task? Any feedback that you would like to share with our team? Thank you so much. Yes, we see, Matt, some of the great comments that yes, it would be really useful, and they do use the matrix and send emails to ticket and closed and open in the given month. So I think there are many useful use cases on a custom or customer base custom need. So this feature is going to be extremely useful. And it's as you mentioned that nobody needs to again relearn all the DAX and every complicated formatting. Copilot can help us.
Very much so, and it's right at the beginning as well of this technology, and it's great to be there with ServiceTeam and Provence leading it.
Thank you so much, Matt. So have a wonderful evening and afternoon, guys. Thanks for attending. And I wish, stay tuned if we send out some new, based on the feedback, if we send out any new series of webcast. Bye.